LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is set to release next year in 2026, and in the short time since the announcement, we've learned a lot about this game. In this video, I tend to combine all the information I can using trailers, gameplay, and even external gifts given to us creators from TT and Warner Bros. Themselves. Thank you, by the way, for having me out there. It was a ton of fun. I'm finally back in my home office. I got some cool LEGO Batman 4 swag on right now. I'm a little sick, I apologize, but let's start out with the obvious. We know that LEGO Batman 4 is an amalgamation of 86 years of Batman's history. And although a lot of what we've seen is inspired directly by the movies, it's not all they're going to cover. Take a look at the Ace Chemicals level. While not from the movies, it does show the Joker's most popular origin story from Zero Year, with him as the Red Hood falling into a vat of acid. There's even references to other Batman stories that haven't been adapted into live action, like the Court of Owls, which can be spotted around the city written in graffiti. Speaking of the Joker and various other characters, we also know that these are all one interpretation. Yes, this Red Hood Joker is the same one we see in a more Heath Ledger Dark Knight appearance in the game's trailer. And this Batman Returns looking penguin is the same one as Colin Farrell's The Batman Penguin. I personally really enjoy this, as it not only allows TT Games to pull direct inspiration from some of the more popular Batman adaptations, but also weave their own original story into the mix, connecting them all. We don't have too many heroes and villains confirmed to be in the game quite yet, but we do know which ones are going to be playable. Those 7 are Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon, Catwoman, and Talia al Ghul. This has already become a pretty big point of contention for a lot of future players, as LEGO game rosters are usually quite large, but as somebody who's played the game for a decent amount of time, I will say I don't really mind this. I'd rather have 7 extremely diverse and unique characters as opposed to a roster of useless ones that just crowd up your free play party. Think about it. Here's the roster for the first LEGO Batman game. Here it is with the useless characters removed. And here it is with the copycat characters removed. In fact, I'll go as far as to say you'll end up using a more interesting roster than you normally would in other LEGO games, besides maybe the Skywalker Saga and DC supervillains. Either way, the game isn't out yet, so it's hard to say how big of an issue this could be. Outside of the playable characters, though, we have some currently non-playable characters that appear in both the trailer, gameplay, and exclusive interviews. Obviously, there's the Goons, then Joker, Red Hood, Egghead, Lucius Fox, etc. But then we have confirmation from the IGN interview that both Batmite and Condiment King are present here, with allusions that Terry McGinnis, Bob the Goon, and even Jason Bateman have references to themselves in the game somewhere. Batmite, we now know, will be running the in-game shop, which will let you buy suits, vehicle upgrades, and I'm assuming gadget upgrades too. In terms of vehicles, we've seen teases for the Batfleck Batmobile and heard from the dev team themselves that the 60s, 80s, Arkham, and animated series Batmobile will be unlockable. Batman isn't the only character with unique vehicles either. While we don't know a lot about them, we know that Jim Gordon has access to GCPD trucks and such, but we'll have to wait for more information on that. Also, yes, I did ask the head dev at TT Games if Killer Moth would be coming back, and he said he could neither confirm nor deny his appearance in this game. We campaigned so hard for this guy last year, and I don't want it to die, so keep the hashtag, save LEGO Killer Moth going, keep the fan art coming. I don't want to have yet another installment with no Killer Moth, please. Come on. Because of the presence of the Freeze Goons and even Two-Face Goons, we can infer that the events of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are played out at some point in the story. This LEGO set TT Games graced me with, thank you very much, also seems to allude to that, as it's based on Batman Forever. This all but confirms the presence of Mr. Freeze, Two-Face, Riddler, Poison Ivy, and Bane, who we saw in the trailers. Funnily enough, when asked if Superman will appear, the developers, they said no. This isn't too surprising though. Throughout the open world, you can find tons of references to Star Labs, Cord Industries, and even Q Corp, but I don't think these are anything more than just references. Remember, this is a Batman story, and although these characters do play important roles in his history, it makes more sense to keep the focus on Batman and the Bat family alone. When I was playing the game, I also asked the dev team about its connection to the previous LEGO Batman and DC games, if it's somehow at all connected to those and those timelines and continuities, and the response was very interesting, and it warrants a whole video on its own. What they said was this is the origin story of Bruce Wayne, from his journey from training with the League to becoming the Dark Knight, and it pulls from every facet of Batman lore, the previous LEGO games included. This is further supported by the poster of the first game being found in a random apartment in the open world of LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. The implication of this is pretty huge, and it's getting its own video in a couple of weeks where I try to paste this game somewhere preemptively into our very long LEGO Batman timeline. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you are subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything. If you don't want to see my videos in the future, you can always just, unsubscribe or leave. But yeah, don't miss it. It's going to be a big one for sure. Now that we've gone over all the characters, let's briefly touch upon the costume system before moving on to the playable areas of Gotham City. We don't know too much about the costumes yet. We know that there's over 100 different costumes to collect that change the appearance of the characters, but doesn't affect the gameplay. A few were preemptively unlocked for Gamescom, notably Brave and the Bold, The Batman, Rainbow Batman, and the Golden Age pre-order bonus, but we also saw some for Commissioner Gordon, like his early fedora look and the Western costume. I'm sure we'll have a full list of them before the game comes out, but for now that's about all that we know. Oh, right, the vehicles too. You can summon variations of the Batmobile and Batcycle to help you drive around Gotham City. The cars control way better than any other LEGO game to come before it, and it almost feels uncanny. I'm so used to the jank that these games normally have, this threw me through a huge loop. I'm sure more types of vehicles will be announced closer to release too, but we can only wait and see. If we take a look at the promo art and the trailer, we see that not only is Ace Chemicals a playable location, but Shrek's Toys, the Botanical Gardens, the Iceberg Lounge, Wayne Tower, Arkham Asylum, the Police Department, Monarch Theater, and the Batcave, which is supposedly customizable and lets you display the trophies and collectibles you've gathered in any way that you like. I picked up one of the promotional newspapers while at Gamescom, and it only confirms what we've already talked about. There's some references to unannounced villains like Mr. Freeze, Harvey Dent, Clayface, Scarecrow, as well as the Riddler. We did get some confirmation that a form of Riddler trophies would be in this game, just like the Arkham series, but there's not enough to go off of to truly say what they'll do or represent. However, TT Games has said the Riddler isn't the only villain leaving challenges around the city for Batman. Interestingly enough, this newspaper also references the Flying Graysons, which were Dick Grayson's, the first Robin's parents. When they had mentioned there's going to be both Robin and Nightwing in this game as a playable character, I wondered if they were going to do like Jason Todd in Nightwing or Tim Drake in Nightwing, but no, we're going to watch Robin grow up into Nightwing, which I think is really, really cool. And I also hope that when the Flying Graysons inevitably meet their end, they hit the ground and they shatter into a bunch of tiny pieces. That would be, I don't know, it's grim, but I think it would be kind of funny to have like the character breaking sound effect as this poor boy's parents die right in front of him. Maybe that's just me. Let's round things out with collectibles. Many players already noticed the Wayne Tech caches found in both the open world and the levels, as well as the rubber ducks that are plastered everywhere. In terms of the open world, we were limited to a small section of Gotham called Tri-Corner Islands, but there's been reports of the map being larger than any of the Arkham game maps, which is just insane. I mean, do you know how big this open world is going to be? This might be Skywalker Saga levels of a collectathon. It seems that minikits in their traditional form won't be making a return, but there are cards that seemingly take their place. Red Power Bricks are back alongside a new collectible called a Skill Brick, that I imagine will function similar to LEGO Ninjago. But again, time will tell. We have no news on a True Hero stud meter, but I didn't see one when I was playing Ace Chemicals. Oh yeah, and there's like singular bronze studs now. The last thing I really want to talk about is the co-op system. It was confirmed that there will be no online co-op in this game, which I think is a little bit of a miss, but I don't play these games cooperatively much anyways, so I don't really have like a horse in this race. But local co-op is back in the same fashion that it was in, the Skywalker Saga and basically every previous game. So you can still play with your friends in person, but there will be no online play. Take that as you will. I didn't want to talk too much about the gameplay itself in this video. I already have a 10-minute video with my full experience with the Ace Chemicals level and the Gotham open world that I posted last week. If that's more your jam, there will be a link down below, I suppose, but I think that covers all of the informational news we've gotten since the game's announcement at Gamescom this year, 2025. So how did I do? Did I miss anything? Was there new news coming out while I was busy recording and editing this that I just didn't have time to cover? Let me know down below what your biggest, fears and hopes are for this game. It's the longest gap we've had between TT LEGO games, I think maybe ever. So I'm really excited to see what the team has been cooking up. Thanks again also to that same team, Warner Bros. Games and TT, for having me out to Gamescom. It was surreal, and thank you again for the shirts and stuff. This is kind of cool. It's nice to have like memorabilia from that trip. But yeah, I'll be back next week with the timeline video. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys when that drops. Goodbye.